my pleasure to introduce to you Carol Martel, class of '68, from Georgia. Carol retired from the Coca-Cola Company in Atlanta, Georgia, while she was responsible for corporate social responsibility and stakeholder relations. During her nearly 20-year career, she served in numerous positions, mainly in the areas of corporate and external affairs and communications. Her primary responsibilities included, among others, managing issues for global communications, directing external affairs for the European Operating Group, and leading strategic communications for technical operations. Preceding her employment with Coca-Cola, Carol was International Vice President of the Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, where she was responsible for international economic development and international affairs. After graduating from Mary Washington, she continued her education at the German Summer School of Middlebury College, and then as a teaching assistant at Ohio State University, where she also earned a master's degree in German. Carol?
Thank you, Jose. It's a pleasure and a great honor to be asked to speak to you all today. This is actually one of our favorite events because we get to come and we get to see all of these wonderful donors and we get to see the scholarship recipients who are benefiting from the funding and support of scholarships here at Mary Washington. And thank you all for that. That's a tremendous opportunity. When I was asked to speak to you today, I realized that talking about sending our young people to study abroad today might be something that not everyone would think would be a good idea. Every time you pick up a newspaper or you go online or you turn on your television, all you hear or see or read about is bombs and terror and war and destruction and all of the things that sound and make us feel insecure or concerned about what this world is coming to. And believe me, it is a difficult time. And when I was reflecting on the times that my husband and I both had the opportunity to study abroad, it was quite a long time ago, I admit that. And at the time, we thought the world was a much simpler place because all we had to worry about in those days was the Cold War. That was all. Contrary to conventional wisdom, however, we strongly believe that there could not be a more important time for us to face the world head on and to do all in our power to find ways for humankind to understand each other better and to learn to collaborate more closely. So it is the good time and it is the right time to encourage our young people to do that. If we don't, we will have a next generation of American leaders afraid of the outside world, incapable of understanding other cultures, and unable to lead our country through the challenges that we undoubtedly will face in the future. Now, with that as background, let me begin with our stories and why our experiences have motivated us to establish scholarship at Mary Washington to assist qualified students who wish to study abroad. Welcome to Germany, Carol. These will be the last words that you will hear from us in English. Now, those words were the first ones that I heard in my first experience as an international exchange student, when at the age of 16, I went to Germany for a year to live in a German family and study at a German high school. And trust me, my German host father was not kidding. That was the last English that I heard. And although I had learned some German in my small high school in West Point, Georgia, it wasn't really great at that point, that summer when I first arrived. So I really had to work very hard to get with it and learn German very quickly so I was ready when classes started. And it became quite a challenge because I finally got to the point where I decided, okay, I've got to do this. I've really got to concentrate. And so my motivating factor became getting up every day and challenging myself to realize that today I understood more German faster than the family's dachshund did. So that became the challenge for the morning to set me free and move me forward. And that lasted just a little while, and then I got it. I outdid him. That year in Germany with the International Christian Youth Exchange really dramatically changed my life and altered its course. When I came to Mary Washington, it really seemed natural for me at the time to continue to pursue my studies in German and my focus on international affairs. So I applied for the Junior Year Abroad program and was fortunate enough to study with the Institute of European Studies, now called IES Abroad, spending a semester in Vienna, Austria, and then transferring to Freiburg, Germany, to a more intensive language program in Germany. And after graduating, as Jose indicated, I went on to Middlebury's German summer program and went from there to The Ohio State University for my master's degree. Now, Carlos's story actually started at a much earlier age. He was born in Cuba, left at the age of 13 for what he describes as his first study abroad experience, an exile trip to the United States. He graduated high school in West Point, Georgia, where we actually met, and enrolled at Georgia Tech, participated while at Georgia Tech in a work-study abroad program in the French-speaking part of Belgium. Following graduation from Tech and his military service, he entered the job market at a time where jobs were not very easy to find, not unlike some of the years that we've experienced of late. But interestingly enough, with that engineering degree in hand, the first job that he found and the interest that that company displayed in him was because of his language skills and his understanding of international issues and international business, because they had determined that they wanted to export their products all over the world. So began a career working for companies large and small that led him to many, many of the countries around the world. His education and language skills actually, and knowledge of international business caught the eye of the governor of Georgia at the time, who appointed him to head the International Trade Development Department for the state of Georgia, and to leverage economic development potential for the upcoming 1996 Olympic Games. My career, on the other hand, had not always been focused on international, but certainly primarily so. And my earlier jobs were involved in the kinds of things that I had become accustomed to as an international exchange program student. My first job was managing international students not from Europe or Germany, but from Central America and South America and the Caribbean who were coming into the southeastern United States to study. I then worked at a time in opening the first German Language Cultural Center, the Goethe Institute in Atlanta, and then moved to the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, responsible for international trade development and international affairs, as Jose mentioned. And those were actually heady times in Atlanta. We had the opportunity in those days to have the absolutely focused leadership of our mayor at the time, Andrew Young, a very well-known international figure, and all of the business community. And our goal, not just a Chamber of Commerce slogan, was to make sure that we made Atlanta the world's next great international city. So that was emblazoned not only in the minds of all those people who belonged to the Chamber of Commerce, but everybody, the whole citizenry. And this was in leading up really to what became a very successful bid for the 1996 Olympic Games. And finally, until my retirement, I worked in various areas, as was stated, at the Coca-Cola Company. And I have to say that Coca-Cola is perhaps one of the world's best-known companies, best-known brands. I don't think I ever gave a customs official, even some of the grouchy ones, going into a country somewhere, my passport, and they asked me, and what do you do here, or what are you doing here? I say, I work for Coca-Cola, that I didn't get at least a little bit of a smile. And once again, my study abroad program was the foundation on which one of my most exciting years at the Coca-Cola Company was based. When the Berlin Wall fell, something that I had visited time and again when I had studied in Germany, something I actually never dreamed that I would live to see. Many of you probably felt the same way. I had the absolutely amazing opportunity to join the front line of colleagues from Coca-Cola, mostly from our West German operations, who were going very, very early on into Eastern Germany to set up operations there. And those were quite incredible times. I mean, this is literally just weeks after the wall came down, and things were a little bit still in turmoil. But incredible time. I felt like a pioneer, as did my West German colleagues. And I probably actually have one of the last passport stamps from the German Democratic Republic, East Germany, which I exchanged, because they weren't giving them out anymore when I came back through Checkpoint Charlie. I exchanged for a can of Coca-Cola. Got that stamp. So I still have that passport. But it's, as the foundation of our study abroad programs has really been something that has given us so many extraordinary things in our lives that we want to provide the same kinds of opportunities for others to follow. And we believe that these programs are so important because they're critical to the future of this university. You can see that from the number of percentage of students taking advantage, and to our nation's place in the world. We believe that they enable students to see and embrace the world with reason and hope in an environment where the new norm seems to be ruled primarily by suspicion, isolation, and fear of diversity. And for those seeking jobs, it's more important than ever because the world of business and the worlds of government are so interconnected and interdependent now. We've established similar scholarships at Georgia Tech and at the Emory University School of Public Health. We're very proud of the 6 Mary Washington Scholars to date that we've been able to fund and help them take advantage of studies abroad. And we look forward to growing our scholarships so that we can help more students take advantage of the same opportunities. Our current student, Danielle Zoccaro, is in France right now, so she couldn't be with us today. But we're delighted that 2 of our former students, Gabrielle Colonna, who studied in France, and Marjan Goodman, who studied in Jordan, could be with us today at lunch. You'll hear in a few moments a little more from Marjan. In closing, I'd like to say to the donors in the audience, thank you for the support that you provide to make so many good things happen to the lives of these students. It's wonderful to see all of you and to see the enthusiasm. And to the students in the audience, most important of all, keep your minds open to new and different ideas that make our world such a rich and wondrous, though often challenging, perplexing, and ever-changing kaleidoscope of opportunity. Continue to work hard to pursue your dreams. Who knows where pursuit of those dreams will lead you? Thank you.